We turn now, broadly speaking, from theft and corruption to philanthropy. Cecilia Conrad is a managing director at the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation. There, she oversees the MacArthur Fellows Program and 100 and Change, a competition for a $100 million grant to help solve a major global issue. She's also the CEO of the foundation's Lever for Change program, an initiative that tries to seed philanthropic projects and collaboratively lever up contributions from other sources. Among her many other credits, she is a true thought leader on gender and equality. Please welcome Cecilia Conrad.
Today, I want to talk with you about an innovative approach to philanthropy that has the power to inspire big ideas and new collaborations, raise awareness about important social issues, and mobilize a community of donors. My story begins a little more than 4 years ago at the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation with its 100 and Change initiative. 100 and Change was the brainchild of Julia Stash, the former president of the MacArthur Foundation. Julia wanted to create a space for the foundation to make a significant grant informed by expertise and networks that were not part of our traditional group. We designed a competition, an open call for a single grant of $100 million available to any project in any domain that promised to take a big slice of a problem or unlock the resources required to solve a critical problem of our time. The competition was open to any organization anywhere in the globe. In that first 100 and Change, we received nearly 2,000 applications from 77 countries, proposing solutions from problems ranging from uneven sidewalks in US cities that posed hazards for people in wheelchairs, to addressing river blindness in northern Nigeria. To help us select the grant recipient, we convened a panel of over 400 wise heads, academics, policymakers, thought leaders, who evaluated the projects on 4 criteria. Meaningful? Will it have an impact, a significant impact? Feasible? Is it something that can actually be implemented? Evidence-based? Is there persuasive evidence that the project, if successfully implemented, will have the impact desired? And durable? Is there a plan to sustain the work, to sustain the solution beyond the $100 million grant? In 2017, we made the first $100 million grant to Sesame Workshop and the International Rescue Committee for an early childhood intervention in the Syrian refugee region. Over 60 million displaced people in the world today, of whom 12 million are young children. To address the emotional trauma suffered by these children and increase their chances for healthy adulthood, Sesame Workshop and the International Rescue Committee collaborated in an extraordinary partnership, melding Sesame's expertise in early childhood development with the IRC's deep experience working in refugee communities. They are delivering early learning and nurturing care to displaced children and their caregivers in Iraq, Jordan, Lebanon, and Syria. As a result, today, thanks to this big grant, instead of Big Bird and Oscar the Grouch, Arabic-speaking children in 20 countries are meeting Basma, Mezuzah, and Jad, Muppets on a new children's program, Ahlan Stinson, or Welcome Sesame. Parents are receiving support in the post-COVID world through digital prompts to help them address their children's emotional needs and prepare them so that they are school ready. But there's more. Inspired by MacArthur, the Lego Foundation gave an additional $200 million to Sesame Workshop to expand the work to refugee children in Bangladesh, and another $100 million to the International Rescue Committee to address the needs of refugee children in Central Africa. This initial grant has propelled over 300 million in funds for early childhood development in refugee settings and propelled early childhood development into a headline topic, including a feature on 60 Minutes this past winter. The experience of 100 and change was exhilarating. We found that other donors were eager to see the projects that had been submitted, and that by sharing this information and our due diligence, we were able to mobilize additional funding for top projects. 68 million for improved technology to care for premature babies in low resource settings. 23 million to change the way we care for orphans. To date, we have nearly tripled MacArthur's initial investment with additional funding from other donors. So we asked ourselves, what if we offered this model to philanthropists whose ability to make big bets with confidence might be impeded by a lack of experience or the staffing, or even just a form of risk aversion, that they lack the confidence to make informed choices? Could we accelerate giving for social changes? The ancient Greek mathematician Archimedes once said, "Give me a place to stand and I can move the world." Archimedes was referring to the simple machine of the lever, a bar balanced on a fulcrum where weight placed on one end has the ability to move a much higher amount of weight on the other end. Had we created a lever that could be used to move billions in philanthropy? We launched Lever for Change, a nonprofit affiliate of MacArthur, with several big objectives. One, to help donors find and fund solutions to the world's greatest challenges, ranging from racial and gender equity to economic development and climate change. Two, to induce philanthropists to give big. In philanthropy, there are very few grants available that match the size and scope of the challenges that we face. This makes it difficult for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs to take on big projects or apply what they know on a large scale. We induce philanthropists to give $10 million plus grants, multi-year grants for social change, larger than is typical in philanthropy. A third goal is to shift philanthropy away from the invitation model, don't call us, we'll call you, to open up access to grant opportunities. Philanthropists often direct their philanthropic giving, their funding, to people within their own networks, and few accept unsolicited proposals. The result is that philanthropic dollars may get distributed based on as much on who you know as on the potential for impact. By creating a bigger tent, we are more likely to find bold, creative solutions and a more diverse portfolio of grantees. 4, to convince donors to rely on expertise beyond their staff and close network to guide their funding decisions. At the launch of 100 and Change, Julia described the project as an expression of our humility, a recognition that we may not always be the smartest people in the room. Because our competitions are open and transparent, applicants know the process, how and by whom they will be evaluated, how long the competition will take and what's involved. Our openness demonstrates to applicants our commitment to fairness throughout the process, and this encourages strong applications, especially from teens. With each competition, we are creating a pipeline of vetted projects ready for immediate donor investment. Each of the top applicants from every competition becomes a member of our Bold Solutions Network, where they receive access to technical assistance and other resources to strengthen their team and their project plan. We've created a searchable database that's available to the public with all of these top projects. When we first hung out our shingle, we hoped to find 4, maybe 5 pioneering donors who would help us test the model. We wanted to do 4 competitions with awards of $10 million with a total commitment of $40 million. Instead, we have launched 8 competitions with a 9th planned for first quarter of 2021. And we have nearly $300 million in award commitments. They include two competitions that have named grantees. The 10 Million Chicago Prize, sponsored by the Pritzker Traubert Foundation, to award 10 million to a single initiative on Chicago's South and/or West Side to catalyze economic opportunities and to improve the well-being of its residents. From over 80 submissions, Pritzker Traubert awarded its grant to Always Growing, Auburn Gresham, a collaborative of 3 community-based organizations. And Pritzker Traubert has leveraged more than 35 million in additional total investments. On December 15, 2020, premier technology workforce development organization PERSCOLAS was announced as the awardee of the 10 Million Economic Opportunity Challenge. The proven pathways to transformative careers in tech project will improve economic opportunities for low-income individuals within the United States. The project was selected from more than 160 submitted entries that were evaluated by the more than 120 philanthropic and civic leaders, as well as subject matter experts in economic development, public policy, and so forth. The Economic Opportunity Challenge winner has already attracted an additional 5 million in funding. And for the donors who are early in the stages of designing the focus of their family foundation, the competition unearthed a plethora of future funding opportunities. Each one of our competitions begins with an open call for solutions to the significant challenge that the sponsoring donors want to address. We recruit applicants through multiple channels, from direct emails to social media, but also leveraging our ever-growing network of past participants, judges, and funders. We have had success recruiting quality applicants, whether the competition was focused on the US or internationally. For example, the Larson Lamb Iconic Impact Competition, which is focused on providing a durable, brighter future for refugees and offers an award of $12 million. For that competition, we received applications from 83 organizations proposing work in 74 countries, both developed and developing countries. For each competition, we recruit a diverse panel of experts to evaluate the projects so that we can leverage the expertise of the best minds around the globe from different sectors, fields, and geographies. Once the judges' comments and reviews have been received, Lever for Change does additional due diligence. We sometimes contract for additional technical reviews, and we help the donor give the donor advice on how to pick their finalists. Once we have the finalists, we then provide technical assistance to the finalists to help them refine their proposals. And our main goal is to make those proposals so strong that multiple funders will want to fund them. We are constantly monitoring and evaluating our process to ensure that it is fair, equitable, and to make sure that we are minimizing the burden on the applicants. In third-party surveys, most participants commend our process. They value the constructive feedback that they receive from the judges. They like the transparency around the selection criteria, and they appreciate having the agency to define projects themselves and the opportunity to think big. So you might ask yourself, what happens to the projects not selected as finalists? Throughout the competition, there is value add for the applicants. They receive feedback from their judges. The finalists work with the consultants to help make their application stronger. But in addition, once the competition is nearing an end, we help top competition applicants increase their visibility by proactively making their information available to potential donors, either through curated lists or sharing their proposals. We've seen the power of this information sharing with the first 100 and change. We put all data about competition finalists on a publicly available database called the Bold Solutions Network. It is searchable, publicly accessible, available on our website. Each of the top scoring projects has a profile where they describe their work, their partners, and what they would do with smaller increments of funding. We've created this database as a resource for donors, big and small. The Bold Solutions Network already includes the finalists from the Larson Lamb Iconic Impact Award, the Lone Star Prize, a competition sponsored by Lyda Hill Philanthropies that sought a $10 million transformation project that will improve the quality of life for Texans. And it includes the finalists from the grandmother of our competitions, our second 100 and change. We expect finalist announcements soon from the $10 million 2030 Climate Challenge that seeks to reduce emissions of greenhouse gases in buildings, industry, and/or transportation, and from the Equality Can't Wait Challenge. The Equality Can't Wait Challenge is a $40 million multi-award initiative that seeks to accelerate women's power and influence in the United States. And this is an example of how competitions can mobilize collaboration in the donor community. Equality Can't Wait launched as a 10 million single award competition, but the boldness of the initiative inspired new partners, and it now is a $40 million competition that will have multiple awards with 3 donors. Still in progress is Racial Equity 2030, hosted by the Kellogg Foundation. It will eventually award multiple grants totaling $90 million to fund bold solutions to drive an equitable future for children, families, and communities across the globe. Here's just a sample of some of the investable opportunities in our Bold Solutions Network. With $10 million, the Clean Water Project, a finalist for the Lone Star Prize, will deliver clean water to Texas households in the most need by deploying affordable on-site water treatment systems through a trained workforce. Just Community, another Lone Star finalist, will invest in 20,000 female entrepreneurs to build wealthier, more financially resilient communities across Texas by increasing their ownership opportunities. The Lone Star Depression Challenge, a multi-partner initiative led by the Meadows Institute, will improve the quality of life and mental health access to communities across Texas using evidence-based approaches. Merit America's Lone Stars Project will build new pathways to upwardly mobile careers for talented low-wage Texans without bachelor's degrees, focusing on underrepresented minorities. And the William Marsh Rice University's Baker Institute for Public Policy will transform the environment through implementation of a soil carbon storage market while growing new economic opportunities for rural communities. For $12 million, the Talent Beyond Boundaries, a finalist for Larson Lamb Iconic Impact Award, will connect skilled refugees to international employers and advocate for refugees and other displaced people to be able to move internationally for work, leveraging their own skills to move their families towards secure futures. Another Larson Lamb finalist, a partnership of refugee-led organizations around the world, will build capacity of refugee-led organizations to scale up their influence and position refugees to lead solutions for their own communities. Lutheran International Refugee Services' New American Cities initiative would use the $12 million to provide an opportunity to rebuild for both new Americans and the cities they call home. Southern New Hampshire University's Global Education Movement will allow refugees across 6 countries to learn skills and earn accredited bachelor's degrees, allowing it possible to connect them to meaningful, well-compensated careers. Village Partnership with Mercy Corps and ID Insight will scale and evaluate Dreams for Refugees, a program to equip refugees in Uganda and Ethiopia with the skills, supports, resources, and connections that they need to become successful entrepreneurs. And then, of course, with $100 million, imagine what is possible. 2021 100 and Change finalist Project ECHO will democratize life-saving medical knowledge and care through a global digital platform. The Clinton Health Access Initiative and Murdoch Children's Research Institute will partner to bring life-saving oxygen therapy to children worldwide. Community Solutions promises to end homelessness in 75 US communities in the next 5 years. National Geographic's Pristine Seas will safeguard and restore the ocean's health and productivity through the creation of marine protected areas. Report for America aspires to eliminate American news deserts, and the World Mosquito Project will prevent the transmission of mosquito-borne disease like dengue in Indonesia and Brazil. Just as a side note, it does not prevent mosquito bites, just the transmission of disease. This is just a sample of the 130 plus projects in our Bold Solutions Network, each promising to take a big slice of a compelling problem. In 2021, our goal is a 1-to-1 ratio of leverage funds to current award commitments, an additional $300 million. By 2023, we hope to have unlocked $1 billion in philanthropic capital, and then $1 billion per year in each year thereafter. We will do this both directly through awards commitments, but also through a secondary market, generating support for top projects from other funders. Just think about what problems we could solve. Thank you. To learn more, I invite you to visit the Bold Solutions Network at solutions@leverforchange.org.